TUC gives President Tinubu an ultimatum to make minimum wage 200,000 naira. Hello everyone, welcome to newsspottv. If you're in Nigeria currently, of course, you'll be conversant with the issues going on around the minimum wage and most importantly, the fuel subsidy removal that was announced by President Tinubu on the inauguration day when he said subsidy is gone. And a few hours after that, there was a high increase in the price of fuel across Nigeria. Some filling stations even refused to sell fuel and made transportation expensive. And pronto, within 24 hours, we had the NNPCL announce new price of fuel across Nigeria, which varied from one state to another. Since this day, it's been a lot of suffering for Nigerians, either as entrepreneurs or as workers in private sector and public servants as well. Now, the APC under the presidency made an announcement to say that it is not Asiwaju Bola Tinubu that made or removed the subsidy, though he's never been quiet about subsidy removal, that it was already sealed before he became president by ex-president Muhammadu Buhari, who had ensured that the fuel subsidy was not budgeted for in the new budget. The implementation of such is going to be the end of June 2023. Now let's get into the news. The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, has released demands it made at the meeting held with President Bola Tinubu's government on Sunday over the recent fuel subsidy removal. Mr. Tinubu's government has been given less than 25 days to increase the 30,000 naira minimum wage to 200,000 naira. The government is also expected to grant workers a tax holiday. In a statement signed by TUC President Festus Osifo and General Secretary Nuhu Toro on Monday, the union called for the immediate implementation of the demands. It highlighted 14 demands for immediate implementation and 5 for the medium term. The demands include maintaining the status quo of petrol fuel price while the discussion continued. Minimum wage should be increased from the current 30,000 to 200,000 naira before the end of June 2023, with subsequent adjustments on the cost of feeding allowance like transport, housing, amongst others, stated the TUC. A representative of state governors will be party to this communique, and all the governors must commit to implementing the new minimum wage. It added, tax holiday for employees both in government and private sector that earns less than 200,000 or $500 monthly, whichever is higher. PMS allowance to be introduced for those earning between 200,000 to 500,000 naira or $500 to $1,200, whichever is higher. Others include setting up an intervention fund where the government will pay 10 naira per litre on all locally consumed petrol. According to TUC, the primary purpose of this fund is to solve perennial and protracted national issues in education, health and housing. A governance structure that will include labour, civil society and the government will be put in place to manage the implementation. The federal government should provide mass transit vehicles for all categories of the populace, TUC explained, urging state governments to immediately set up a subsidized transportation system to reduce the pressure on workers and students. The framework around this will be worked out. The union also called for an immediate review of the National Health Insurance Scheme to cover more Nigerians and prevent out of stock of drugs. In the medium term, the union called for the deployment of compressed natural gas across the country in line with the earlier promise made by the government, stating that both parties would develop and agree on the framework and timeline. TUC also called on Labour and governments to design a framework geared towards reducing the cost of governance by 15% in 2024 and 30% by 2025. A framework should be immediately put in place to maintain the road and expand the rail network across the country. Governments must design a framework for social housing policy for workers through the rent-to-own system, TUC recommended. It added that the state of electricity in Nigeria must be appraised and an action plan should be defined with timelines on how to get this fixed, pointing out that a strong monitoring team comprising all parties will be constituted. So these are the demands by the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria to President Bola Tinubu to resolve or to give a solution to the pains suffered by Nigerians due to this fuel subsidy removal. As we know, people are saying, would this ever be honored? Can it be increased from 30,000 naira to 200,000 naira? Would it be possible? Let's take a few comments from Nigerians. The commenter said, your demands are not bad, but what happened? You people didn't give Buhari these conditions when he was in office. During good luck, this very group disturbed him out of office because he's from the south. Now it's Tinubu, they have come again. Your various unions should not be biased or selective on whom to give conditions or not. Another said, only God Almighty that will help Nigeria and Nigerians from the hands of their enemies. Another commenter said, state governors should be compelled to implement anything approved. If not, we will not get to enjoy any increments. We are yet to benefit from the 30,000 naira minimum wage in Taraba states. Another said, when some states couldn't pay 30k, what's a bunch of wicked and greedy leaders that will one day push the starving poor masses to the wall. They will know that those living in the glass houses don't play with stones. They can't delete everyone. Another person said, this is an impossible dream. Another one said, if Nigeria can be good like this, people will not travel out. Another said, how realistic is the 200,000 minimum wage? Some state governors are still battling with the 30k. What about the unemployed, private sector and self-employed? NLC and TUC are self-serving. So those are the few comments that trailed the demand by the TUC, the very first demand to President Bola Tinubu. As Nigerians, we know the importance on how heavily dependent we are on fuel in Nigeria, while people have to, of course, fuel their vehicles, and which is the main source, and also at homes and offices and companies, they all do rely heavily on fuel as well. And for some days now, it's been reported that the prices of the kg of gas has gone down, and it keeps going down. However, this is the opposite happening to fuel. What's your opinion on this? Please drop your comments in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. To our new subscribers, thank you so much for joining. And to existing subscribers, thank you for always stopping by. We'll see you in the next news. May God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.